It's still working. Yep.
Yow! What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to our broadcast tonight. It is end of the line night, and well, maybe not in the UGC world, maybe just the Valve world. This is the upper bracket finals of the Season 14 playoffs, so still a little bit more to play to. But, well, you know, the match tonight is pretty important as the winner will be booking themselves into the grand finals, while the losing team will still have to duke it out in the lower bracket and then, you know, have to fight that uphill battle in order to actually get the crown. That's what people are fighting for, and, well, it's been a tough season so far. Badwater is going to be the map tonight, and, well, our casters for the evening, since I am having some TF2 issues, our casters are going to be Grizz and Mustard Overlord. Mustard, how you doing, buddy?
I'm pretty good, minus the fact that after the update, the server has a bunch of purple and black squares all over the place. But other than that, hopefully this action will be pretty sick. I'm really looking forward to this game. And yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Grizz, yourself, how you doing, man?
Yeah, doing well. Again, just looking forward to a good match tonight. Both of these teams looking good on a map that should be a lot of fun. So,
now we did get word that we're having a bit of a substitute here, as Banny not going to be able to make it. He's coming back from ESTA land, coming back a champion, which is a pretty good way to do things, but he is leaving his Highlander team in a little bit of a position here, as they're going to have to work it out without him. I am not in the server. I had to delete my game. That's partially why I'm going to hand it off to these guys. Did we get confirmation that Zalox is stepping in for him?
I think that it might actually be Patty on demo
okay,
and Ash on
Patty and
Scout.
Ash.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I suppose Zalox is also... He also has the land hangover as well.
Yeah, most likely. Maybe a little bit more hungover than Banny, as his team didn't quite make it to Sunday. But Badwater is where we're at today, and it's an engineer's map. Grizz here as our engineer. And there's a lot to talk about with these two teams. And I guess before we get into specifics, let's just go into the overall. Going into this map, not even talking about Badwater. Who are your guys' favorites between these teams? Kids Next Door, who've been up and coming, working hard, and getting frags and getting wins, versus Ginyu Force, who are, well, an established powerhouse and have a pretty solid season going. Mustard, what's your initial impression between these two teams?
Well, Jeff, I hate to subvert some of the premise of your question, but on almost any other map and in almost any other situation, i.e. with Banny present and with Patty on Scout, who I think are two of their best players, I would say, you know, Ginyu, very clear favorites. Like, Kids Next Door have pushed themselves all the way to the second place, essentially, with this upper bracket finals, at least thus far. I think they're guaranteed a top 3 finish already. But, at the same time, Ginyu has been just on another level from the rest of the teams, especially in playoffs, especially once Banny joined. However, again, with those issues and with the map, I mean, I think if it were a King of the Hill or a 5CP map, Ginyu would just immediately win outright. But Candy has really proven themselves to be very good on payload maps, in fact, and I mean on Steel and the like. In fact, they actually beat DK on this map in the regular season, so I actually think that, I'm not going to say that Candy are favorites or anything, but I think this is probably the best chance they're going to get. Like, if they don't beat Ginyu here, I don't think it's going to happen. That's the way I'm going to put it.
Well, you know, I guess that's their shot then, and once we get to the grand finals, it will be a best-of-3 format. I do believe, I'll have to double-check it real quick, the lower bracket match following this is still Badwater, is that correct? Is that how that works?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, so it is, and it'll be the loser of this versus the winner of Highlander players and Evil. This is Evil.
Yeah, which is the other match going on tonight. It'll be interesting to hear the wrap-up of that, which of those teams survive. And either team, you know, will have 2 games in a row on Badwater and then lead into that best-of-3 on the grand finals. Grizz, from your perspective, what do you think are the keys to Badwater? I mean, what do you think these teams have to really focus on accomplishing in order to have a successful map here?
I mean, at the Platinum level, it's really going to come down to just managing kind of when to fall back, not overcommitting to these lesser important holds, making sure to get set up on third, and of course, I mean, trying to manage that sniper battle, which tonight, Sizz versus Stone, should be pretty good. But again, just making sure that you're not caught out and you don't lose that last hold, which can be, you know, 6 minutes plus. So.
Now, Mustard, do you think there's particular class matchups here that are going to be really important for us to keep our eyes on?
Yeah, there are a couple. As Grizz mentioned, I would definitely say the sniper matchup is very huge. I do think, Stones has been on a bit of a hot streak recently, but Scissor's always done well on this map. I think Stones definitely has stronger aim, but Scissor's a very smart player. He's good at staying alive. He body shots a lot, which, love it or hate it, gets a lot of kills. I think he might even run Machina at several points. I could be wrong, but he has done that in the past. So I think he'll at least put out a lot of damage, even if he's not getting some of the crazy picks that Stones gets. But I think another matchup which is very underrated, which could be important on this map, is the medic matchup. Because I do trust both of these engineers, Enderp, I should say, and Sigafu with the falling back, as Grizz said. I ranged for Ginyu the other day when Sigafu was playing, and he was very adamant about, we lost first by too much of a margin, let's fall all the way back to third, and getting that third hold set up with the gun in the window that everyone loves so much. But I think, at the end of the day, it's all moot if you don't get good Ubers out or if your medic dies in a bad situation. And while I think in the repushes, Ginyu will probably be favored because they're DM, like when they just push back in non-Uber versus non-Uber, and they'll get some really nice aggressive pushes. I think the fact that Nursey is very good at staying alive, and that's kind of his chief attribute is medic, could be a big plus for Kids Next Door if he can get really, really small death amounts. So I think that's a big thing that Kids Next Door has going for them.
Well, I got word that we should be going live pretty soon here. Could we have predictions from you guys? Who do you think is going to take it?
I would probably say 2-1 to Ginyu. I feel like they're just a little too clutch. Like, there'll be rounds that it looks like it's going Kids Next Door's way, and then Ginyu will get frustrated and just plus forward and win some crazy deathmatch fight. That's my intuition.
Grizz, from your perspective?
I'm actually gonna flip it and say 2-1 KND, just because I've seen how religiously Bobby and the crew practice this map, and I know that they're gonna have those deathmatch fights, but I think overall KND is just a lot better prepared for this map, and I think it's gonna show in most of these rounds.
That's definitely a good point. So yeah, Jeff, I think I should probably take over because we're in setup time.
Alrighty, we'll have a good cast, guys. Maybe I'll jump in after the first round.
Okay, I'm gonna go down the Ginyu roster first, Grizz, and then you can take Kids Next Door. On Ginyu, we see Ash ringing on Scout. He's on their roster, so I guess it's allowed. Mela tagged up as Elevate Lord Mela with the annoying Tumblr X's and whatnot. We see Fathom on Pyro. We see Patty filling in his demo. Dilbo Baggins, which is Dill on Heavy. Sigafu on Engineer. Overseer on Medic. Stones on Sniper, and Stabby and Spy, of course.
And for K&D, of course, you got Ozzy on Scout, Etney playing Soldier, Katsy on Pyro, Jared on Demo, Bobby on Heavy, also known as Kresnik, Scissor is Sniping, Storm is playing Spy, Nursey is Medic.
Yeah, and as we get into it, Kids Next Door starting on the defense, they managed to ward off the suicides, which is pretty important. Or actually, no, I'm completely wrong because of the crazy colors of my game. Nursey actually does get forced by a really nice coordinated 4 or 5 person attack from Ginyu, so their modus operandi here has to be to try to force Overseer and fall all the way back. Let's see if they can do that.
Yeah, this is kind of one of those moments that we talked about earlier. KND knows that they can't hold this first point, especially now that they don't have this Uber. And my game is frozen, so it's up to you, Mustard.
Actually, a pause, I believe, unless the server's down. I think it's a pause. So yeah. Since we have a tiny bit of time to talk, I will say that I do generally prefer to start on defense on these kind of maps, payload, attack, defend, etc. I think it's a little bit better because not only is it nice to get that start on defense, which is usually a slightly easier, less stressful side, better for your stats, etc., but I feel like the psychological power of having a number that you have to beat, teams get really close when they get down near the later stages. And I'm getting word from our lovely cast producer Dashner that Kids Next Door's NG Enderp was actually the person who crashed. Hopefully that's not too big a deal. It's 90 seconds in the future, but hopefully that lets them still find a way to set up on whatever point they were setting up at, whether they fell all the way back to third or whether they decided to set up on roof.
Yeah, of course that's not the end of the world, especially since they were already kind of giving up first at this point. They want to get a fourth on Overseer, but Enderp will be safe and sound getting set up on the next point.
Yeah, I think Grizz, we can both agree, as people who have played Platinum, that in Platinum the importance of the later points on this map is very skewed compared to the earlier ones. You know, you can get like full 5-6 minute times on those 3rd and 4th points if you play them right.
Yeah, especially that 3rd point that you mentioned earlier, that window spot with the sentry is kind of one of the reasons people don't like that Rescue Ranger Wrangler combo, because it can just stay up for forever.
Yeah, as we're back. And let's just see how Kids Next Door reacts to this. My HUD is broken, so I'm just gonna have to... Yeah, Overseer actually popped her Uber already. They did get some nice kills, though. I have to press tab, but it does look like a couple people are down. However, the gun is still up, so I guess... Oh, there we go. Finally goes down to a crossbow by Overseer, and this is pretty much a good push for Ginyu, so... Oh, and Nursey gets caught out by Sigafu. That's crazy. This is a full wipe. I was not expecting that. Now Kids Next Door is definitely gonna have to wait until 3rd point.
Yeah, enough 3rd point might even be a struggle. And Overseer goes down to Storm there. Great revolver.
Yeah, really nice play. Let's see how yeah, I was gonna say let's see how Ginyu reacts to it. Looks like Patty doing the smart thing already has stickies up on the 2nd point, so at least they will get 2nd, but they won't be able to push 3rd with that lovely Uber advantage they were cultivating. And yeah, pretty easy 2nd point. Not much to say.
Yeah, just kind of a roll through from Ginyu, taking advantage of that wipe they got on 1st. Now they've got to take down this sentry gun that's already level 3, or level 2, sorry, coming up in the window.
This is what worries me, because the change of the pause hasn't happened yet, so I think Ender is going to crash after already having built up that Wrangle level 3, which is really unfortunate if that's the case. Jarrett gets sniped by Stones, which is obviously a huge pick for the offense. It means that their Uber will be a lot easier to walk it in a little bit before getting forced and thus having no way to take out that.
Yeah, and you were right. Ender does lag out there, and his sentry goes down. And with Jared done, this is not looking good for one of the best holds on this map. Candy is going to have to play it really smart and not lose any more bodies.
Luckily, it looks like they managed to get Ender and Jarrett back in time for the Ubers, and a couple people go down before the Ubers, so this is nowhere near a guarantee for Ginyu. They don't have that sentry in the window, but with the defensive Uber fight with Candy, I'd like to see Candy still try to hold a little bit closer than they're doing now. Take some ground.
Yeah, Stones went down there, which gives Candy a little bit more room to breathe, especially around this corner. Uber does come in for Overseer as they jump this corner. Bobby in a great position has got Patty flying far away and denies that Uber.
This is pretty much just a repush, and Ginyu, as Ginyu does, gets a couple of nice kills on the flank on the repush, so they can probably use this to get the corner, unfortunately, because that gun is all the way around. If it were still in the window, Ginyu would have no chance for this repush, but as Stabby comes cloaking in behind, or, sorry, he's not there yet. These colors are really confusing me, I'm sorry, but yeah, that's a 3rd point. I think it's fair to say the NG crashing was a big part of that, to be honest.
Yeah, that was actually just really unfortunate for Candy. I mean, they were all set up, Ubers were even, that's the kind of scenario you want for this map. Now they're going to have to rely on this powerful last hold. Stabby cloaking in, trying to get some sort of pick on Enderpeer. And he is caught out.
Yeah, luckily they do manage to get a nice hold up on last, relatively even Ubers. They have that annoying gun in the lower spawn, which is really hard to get to unless you get on the end with like a scout or a spy or a soldier or something. So, Candy definitely has a chance here. You know, they shouldn't get too down on themselves. It's the first half of the first round of a full map, you know.
Yeah, and again, as we talked about earlier, this game isn't over. They can still get 3, 4, 5 minutes out of this if they play it smart.
I kind of liked what Ginyu was doing for a second. It looked like they were going to plan on having Dill flank in tires while they push him with their Uber. It looks like they decided against that, though. I do like when the flank takes over tires control. But we see the Uber coming in from Patty. It's getting completely denied by Katsi on Pyro, as is to be expected from that cart path Uber. It's very difficult to get things done. And it looks like mostly a reset here. Only the spy goes down for either team.
Yeah, and again, that's kind of what Candy wants. They want Ginyu to just push in with those classic kind of cart pushes, because they know it's not going to work here as long as they have even Ubers.
I was just taking a look at it, and I think the biggest vulnerability that that Candy has is probably their tire side, because they have their soldier playing in map room. So I want to see if Ginyu realizes that and tries to have their flank take over the map room while they, take over the tires while they Uber in. You know, have some people fall on top of the other team. I think if they just try to push their whole team through the main cart track, they're just going to get stuffed again. Dill is walking in by tire side, but he's still by himself. I'd like to see him have a couple players. And ooh, nice stab by Stabby taking down Jarrett.
Yeah, that's a big pick as Ubers are almost getting ready to reach that 100% mark. Yeah, and the gun goes down there.
Nice work by eXtine though, defending that map room. He's getting challenged a lot. Stabby finally takes him down, but I don't know why the team's trying to fight him in that narrow choke point. I think they should just avoid him. It's really not that important to have map control, but that's my opinion.
Yeah. Endorp is actually out of the server again, which 2 points back to back are really unfortunate, as now Ginyu can just kind of play around that advantage that they already have.
Yeah, Melee using that opportunity to bomb in to try to get stuff to happen. Stone's using the opportunity to walk a little farther forward. Ginyu is not being very polite about this. I guess I can't blame him. It is the playoffs. Sigafu is already set up right above their spawn with a mini shooting down. And this is going to be a little rough right after the Uber. The Ubers are still even, but ooh, nice play by eXtine and Aussie. Nice flanks by the flank. However,
yeah.
I don't know. It might be too late.
Unfortunately, we are going to see that post-Uber fight out of Ginyu that's just too strong for Candy to handle, as they were just getting back set up with Ender. And a nice stab by Storm to get Dill.
Just has to delay for 2 seconds. This is going to be rough. I don't know if they'll get there in time.
It doesn't look like it's going to be happening. Fathom denying the cart, and there it is, 6:24. I don't know, Mustard. That's a pretty fast time.
Yeah, really unfortunate, because I don't know if it's because they got really pissed about their entry and felt they had to step up, but the flank classes of K&D, eXtine in particular, were really like just mad that they were down a player and going behind and getting some nice kills on the Ginyu players pushing the cart. But ultimately, with that gun not watching a lot of areas, Ginyu was able to take over ground and just surround K&D as they kind of got stuck underneath that in that little NG cubby. And you know, what can you do when you're just stuck in a little corner without any Uber and the entire enemy team is surrounding you? So hopefully Candy doesn't get too down about this. Either they come out with a really nice offense, or even if they lose this round, they're still hyped for the next one. But I have to really quickly restart my game, Grizz, so why don't you take over for a little bit?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'm good friends with some of those K&D guys, and I know that loss, that quicker time isn't going to get them down too much. What we saw there is that Ginyu just took control of that upper ground, and once that happens, it's really hard to push back out, especially when eXtine was hanging out in map room. But right now, we're just going to watch as K&D starts that initial round of suicides, tries to get something similar to what happened to them and force Overseer. And now we see eXtine running his famous Beggar's Bazooka as he bombs over top. Just kind of working this card underneath. Bobby getting a good position, challenged by Stabby, who goes down. We're not seeing any real suicides out of K&D like Ginyu did. So, and there it is. Jared not getting anything done there, and eXtine also goes down.
He gets Overseer's pop though. That's at least something, and Patty goes down to the cart path to deal with it, but he has to be careful here. He is going to get a couple kills. Nice cart defending, but still that Uber is going to be very important. I think with that Uber advantage now, Candy is going to get this point fairly quickly.
Yeah, they got what they needed, and Ginyu's already starting to kind of fall back. Overseer taking the spot on this lower tracked area.
Yeah, this is nice positioning by Ginyu, especially with Dill on this little half rock. I really think the mistake a lot of teams make is not having their heavy watch the cart, and I think if you have like a heavy just ready to kill those flank classes on the cart, it's really hard to deal with. But
Uber does come in from Nursey there as they just try and get this gun down.
Sigafu actually moves it with the Rescue Ranger. He's rebuilding it just in the middle of everything, just to have a gun up, because he moved it and they weren't really ready for it. Although Stones and Fathom go down for Ginyu, but Ash gets some nice counter picks on Storm, Arian, and eXtine. So this is still pretty close, but Candy has the positioning, and I think Ginyu is going to give this up. The question remains, though, are they going to try to set up on roof? And I think they will. I'd like to see them. They have everyone up.
Yeah, it looks like their flank is getting in position, but yeah, it looks like their medic... Oh, Jared goes in and gets the force out of Overseer. Great pipe there.
And I just want to point out, Sigafu was already either anticipating this, or maybe it's just Ginyu's philosophy to not hold second too much, because he's already building at third. Just decided that's more important, and I understand that philosophy because, again, this gun in the window.
Especially with only 4.5 minutes left, that's not a lot of time. That means they only have to deny 1 or 2 pushes out of K&D, and this is certainly the point to do it.
I'd like to see if they can get Nursey's force out before his team gets to that little house. I don't think they're going to be able to, so I think this is going to be a nice Uber advantage push. That's a little poor, I think, by Storm, Arian, and eXtine to die right before Uber when they have advantage, but oh no, never mind, that was still behind them, I think, because he goes down to Oz. Still, some nice kills by Ginyu. I think they should be able to hold this despite the Uber disadvantage. Let's see what happens with the gun.
Yeah, nice defense there as Jared's caught out and taken down by Fathom and Patty.
He did get Overseer though. That's still not a perfect Uber, but that's about as much as he could get out of that situation. Kill the other team's medic. And let's see if Candy can use that in their better spawns to make something happen. It's going to be tough to take out this gun though. They need to use this to maybe get a soldier or spy up top and just kind of spam up the NG from that upper platform, I think. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know what they're going to make happen here.
Yeah, I'd like to see an entry pick on somebody like Stone so that they can get a little bit more room to breathe. As he's just he took out Sizz and he's just opening up on them. Stabby takes down Jared there with a nice ambi headshot.
And this is nice positioning by Dill standing on top of that platform so that the enemy team can't get anywhere near the sentry. And he gets, oh my god, Dill just mowing all of them down. That's a 4K for him, taking down the whole enemy combo. Ridiculous play. A lot of people still go down, but that gun's still there, you know? What are you going to do?
And that's exactly what happened. Stones just had him pinned in that corner, and Dill just came right over top and got those easy picks onto Bobby and Nursey. Big picks there that are going to buy them the time they need on this point.
Oh, and poor Ender timing out again. I really feel bad for the guy. He really hasn't had a chance to have much time in this game.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, especially with a class as important as Engineer. I mean, more so on defense, but certainly having a teleport when they need to get this faster time would be pretty helpful.
Ooh, nice shot by Scissor on Ash. And this is actually crits for Overseer. I just realized that. I want to see what happens with this. Are they be able to get Nursey? They might just wait until Nursey's Uber comes in and then try to counter pop, you know, because they have to spend that whole Uber on the sentry, you know. Might be good chance to catch them out.
They don't have a Banny, but I'm still expecting that aggressive play out of Ginyu. And it looks like Candy either knows or is playing pretty smart, as they are pretty far back here.
Now that Candy has their Uber, yeah, I don't want to see Patty try to force the Uber. This Chris, I'd like to see him just hold on to it and count on the gun to force the Uber, and then just crits right in afterwards. I think it'd be a mistake for him to just use crits here. And yeah, Patty's a smart player. He's wise to this. He's just trying to kite them. That gun's still up. He can easily go back in while they're looking at the gun and And here it comes. Oh, they barely get the point though. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, great work getting the gun down there.
And not only did they get the gun, but they also just managed to sneak the cap right before Patty came in. And to make matters worse, Overseer got separated from Patty, so the crits got taken off of him. So the crits really wasn't as good as it could have been otherwise. However, they do have an advantage now.
Oh, but Ash gets Nursey as he comes through a house there. Great pick, and that means with that crits advantage, Ginyu's sitting pretty comfortably as they're still holding this corner.
Yeah, and remember, there's only a minute left, so Kids Next Door is going to have to get aggro here.
And Stone's is still up, getting some nice picks on the cart there as Etney goes down.
This is coming down to crunch time. I mean, this is unfortunate. Kids Next Door is going to have to push into this crits, otherwise they lose the round outright. As that's weird. Overseer pops on Dill again by accident. Patty doesn't even... But oh, that last little bit of crits is still enough to take down Nerd.
Yeah, what we didn't see there is that Ash actually came in around from the flank and was already pressuring the combo, so they weren't ready for those crit stickies that came right from cart. And
this is, as I say often, this is nearing the realm of physical impossibility. To actually get this cart in 30 seconds all the way to the end, they basically have to push it non-stop, and I don't think that's going to happen with that wrangled gun. So this should be the first round to Ginyu. Sorry to burst the bubble of any Kids Next Door fans out there.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Enderp's disconnect there certainly hurt them, but Candy's doing pretty well for this last point.
You can tell that they have a good idea of how to push points, especially on that third point. They clearly have a plan of how to get past the gun and the like, as Patty gets some nice cleanup kills, and yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be it, as Ginyu just cleans up the last few frags, padding their stats a little bit. But yeah, first round goes to Ginyu.
I think at the end there you saw kind of the effect of talking about, you know, despite how much of an uphill challenge Candy had in that last minute or so, they didn't win, but they got so aggressive knowing how little time was left, and that aggression, you know, forced them all to work together, all to focus the same targets, and that's kind of the psychological advantage of getting to attack second, you know, break the time. So that's why I say it's a big effect for anyone wondering. But I'm gonna pull up the stats and see what the deal is. They're saying that they believe Ender is being DDoS. That's really sad if that's the truth. Looking at these stats right here, hold up one second. Here we go.
Thank you.
Looking at these stats, Patty with a very powerful 19-1. However, it's hard to really judge when he's basically sitting pretty with all that easy cleanup. I mean, he got 14 kills on that defense alone as Candy desperately pushed with the time remaining. still, very nice work by him, staying alive and getting those crits near the end. Stones and Dill also doing some nice work. I noticed Etney on the other team was having a very strong half, unfortunately. Not enough.
He had a really good defense there, especially on that last point. But yeah, as you said earlier, Scissor not getting the kills that Stones did, but still putting out a lot of damage, so
yeah,
we'll see if we can convert more in the second half.
Yeah, and looking at the stats, you see the difference between, looking at the heal stats between the way the teams play, you see on Ginyu's side, Patty getting 30% of the heals with Dill, the heavy, only getting 15, whereas the other team, Kresnik or Bobby and Jared are almost exactly even. And I think that philosophy somewhat sums up the difference between these two teams, and I think it'd be interesting to see if Kids Next Door can exploit the roaming heavy to their advantage, or on the other hand, if Patty can just put out ridiculous amounts of damage with all those heals he's getting. That's another matchup that I like to watch. And it looks like we're switching teams, and hopefully Kids Next Door can work out their crashing issues. It's really unfortunate. And I don't know if it's true that they're getting DDoSed, but if it is, cut that out, guys. Everyone wants to see a good game. And it's just UGC Highlander. It's not Dota or League of Legends. There's not hundreds of thousands of dollars at stake. Just let the players have some fun.
DDoSing is pretty much the least cool thing that you can do over the internet. Pretty much.
I think adding over the internet was pretty important there. I'm just imagining some guy punting kittens off the Golden Gate Bridge or something. I'd say that's a little bit worse. But DDoSing's pretty awful too. I don't want to.
Pretty lame.
Don't want to sound like I'm trivializing an important issue.
Yeah, don't SWAT anybody, don't dox anybody, and don't DDoS. Because if you DDoS people, you're just really, really lame. It's like somebody's building a sandcastle and then you run over and kick it. It's just really lame.
I'm actually pretty surprised that they're still going with Enderp. I mean, he's a really great NG, but at this point, it's more important to just have somebody who's connected and can play.
I hate to cut you off there, but it looks like they brought User in here instead of Ender. Yeah, unfortunate, because I don't want to be mean, but I do believe that Enderp is a much, much stronger engineer. He's really experienced at, I think, there are some engineers who are more of the super DM style, plop down a mini and run in. Ender is more of the, the Lelouch 24 model of, stay alive, have a Wrangler, have a Rescue Ranger, and annoy the other team with your unkillable Sentry. And I think that style of engineer is obviously super powerful on payload defense, and having him would be such a huge asset. So hopefully they can make do with their substitute.
Yeah, User's not a slouch. He has played in Plat before as NG, but again, probably not to anything of this caliber. And Enderp has been playing really well lately, so that is quite a shame. He's also a great guy, so stop DDoSing him if you are.
Yeah, I've noticed. I haven't really probably given him enough praise because Engineer is such a statistically insignificant class with damage and frags usually, but in terms
of cover, Mustard.
In terms of game impact, having an engineer who has the awareness to, dodge incoming projectiles, avoid getting backstab, and being smart enough to back up at the right times, on a map like this, if you can always have that gun set up on any point that the other team has to push, it's really frustrating. Speaking as a demo main who has to try to take those things out with a pyro air blasting all my stickies away, it's not fun. And hopefully User can fill his shoes, or even better, that Enderp can come back in, but I'm not positive if that's going to be the reality.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm getting word of some shenanigans that are happening on behalf of KND, things being aimed towards them. Guys, come on. This is UGC almost finals here. I don't think this is the time for that. Let's just try and have a good game.
For our community overall, I don't think it's anybody from Ginyu or any Ginyu supporter or anything underhand from Ginyu. Probably somebody's got some sort of lame grudge against the kids next door. I don't know. Maybe they thought the kids next door were bumping their music too loud, something silly, but it's not worth it.
Apparently, with the way the drama's working out, it appears as if the Enderp thing is actually unrelated to DDoSing, but there's other malicious activity going on with the players that are here, involving Steam calling people and getting IPs with certain individuals whose names I'm not sure if I should mention or not. Just because I don't know if the allegations are 100% true. If they were, I'd have no problem calling someone out for being an asshole, but
Right, we'll save that for the vlog afterwards, right?
But whatever the case, if it's that person or another person, that person should stop doing it.
Yeah, we just want to have a legit game here, and I think that's everybody's goal. And it's, as you guys mentioned, it's definitely pretty difficult to put up a sizable defense on a payload map when your engineer is just cutting in and out. I mean, we talked about it pregame, moving back, to the third point and getting set up is so important. And, the home wrecker can only go so far in terms of keeping a gun up, without the engineer himself. You're just going to lose your setup, and you're going to lose your defense. That's just how it goes.
Mm-hmm. And they do have 18 people on the server now. I guess they're just working out last minute if they can get Ender back in. They want to give it as much time as possible, but most likely they're gonna play this out with user.
I'm wondering what they're gonna try and work on for this next half. I mean, obviously some things are out of their control, but I'd really like to see as far as changes from Ginyu, I think Nursey, even though losing that round, definitely played very well. As you brought up with the heals, maybe distributing it a little bit differently, but again, I'd like to see if on defense we can prevent some of those early pops. I know suicides are inevitable, but
yeah, it was really both teams happening, and I feel like what happened on the first point is the very first suicide didn't often work, but then the team would suicide again, and it's like the defensive team wasn't expecting it to happen anymore, Like they thought, we avoided the first demo and solar bomb, so we can still stop washing out, maybe the heavy got a little lax, the medic, the pyro, the demo, whatever. Obviously I don't know exactly whose fault it is, but those teams didn't stop suiciding, and with the way the first point works with how fast your spawns are and how close your spawns are, you can really afford to just suicide a bunch of people in over and over again without committing your medic until something happens.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going live, so let's hope that a different impact happens. We do have user in instead of Ender, unfortunately.
Yeah, somebody just dropped from Ginyu though.
Yeah, that'd be Stabby. Hopefully he can get back in. And user crashes too. Okay,
man.
I'm very confused. Luckily, Stabby is just a spy, so he's not needed in setup time, and User is on offense, so he's not needed for a level 3 sentry. Hopefully, these guys can get back in before the setup time even ends. I imagine that's why there's no pause.
Yeah, User's already back in. Just waiting on Stabby to connect. Again, Stabby can be a pretty big difference maker, and if anybody's gonna get that pick on Nursey going into the push, it might be him. So, and there he is, connecting again, getting ready to get in position.
I have heard people say they like how Stabby really plays around that tunnel area and goes after people on the cart when he's on defense. So, I think if they can slow the cart down, I mean, Ginyu was doing a very good job of that. They just got their medic forced, but if they can keep their medics uber around and keep people off the cart, that extra 1 minute or so you get on the first point is not trivial when the rounds get close. Stabby is back in time though, so let's see what happens. Stabby actually goes down right away.
Yeah, no impact there as he couldn't even activate the dead ringer. Blue, the kids next door, starting to push out here. We'll see if they could dislodge this pretty typical level 3 sentry gun by Sigafu.
Jared's suiciding in now. He gets some nice damage out, but not on Overseer. They do actually get
Sigafu goes down. Yeah, that's a big pick, as they can kind of just spam the gun if Sis can get in position. But he goes down to Stones. That's unfortunate. They really need to pressure this gun while Sigafu's down.
Good job getting the cart, though, all the way to the end of the tunnel, though, which will kind of force Ginyu to react. And looks like, well, now there's a pause. They seem like they were considering ducking back to that second point, and hopefully this isn't anything too serious here.
I'm going to slightly disagree with you there, eXtine, and say, based on the positioning, I don't think they're going back to the second point, but they just were forced to drop down to kill those people on the cart. I think they're going to set right back up on this first point because while Candy did a great job of pushing to the end of the tunnel, Ginyu did an equally good job killing every single person on the cart before they got it around. So I think that they're okay with, I mean, they could have stopped it earlier, but I think they're okay with the fact that they still have a little bit of room to work with.
Yeah, they're in a comfortable spot here. Sigafu is just now getting back up. He's definitely going to have that sentry all right. And yeah, Ginyu still has numbers, so yeah, I'm going to agree with Mustard here and say they're probably getting back in position.
Let me see where Stones is. Yeah, Stones dropped down on the cart. I don't know if they know that, but if they can push him out of the way, I'd like to see maybe K&D try to push up with their Uber on this far right-hand side, because with that gun down, maybe they can get a nice angle to spam it out right before Sigafu gets back in these couple seconds. And if they can do that, if they take all the high ground, that's really powerful. I'd like to see them push their little right hill, like from their perspective, the left side from the defender's perspective. I think that's just about the best time to do it.
They're going to have to get that entry pick on Stones, though, because right now, he did pretty well last half, and if they peek there, he's going to get a good pick if they give it to him.
Yeah, I'd like to see them try to, get a soldier, their own sniper, get a scout across, force him back, and then they could probably spam out this gun. Sig does have a teleporter there as well, though, so he could be back very soon. So maybe I'm over-optimistic and their time is dwindling. We have to see how they approach this, because they haven't made a huge amount of headway yet, because both Ubers are still intact. And they didn't get the gun while Sigafu was dead, which is unfortunate. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, as soon as Sigafu's up, he's probably just going to pull out that Wrangler and, triple his sentry's health. So even if he's not there right away, he's going to give it a few more seconds, especially if it's just getting spammed down by a little Storm Aryan with his Latranger. So...
Excuse me? It's l'étranger? Thank you very much. I'm just going to try to really quickly figure out who's missing.
Yeah, some people were saying that there was another update as well. I am not 100% sure on that. Also, of course, still rumors of people DDoSing. My favorite out of the chat is Mambule DDoS confirmed. No.
It does.
No.
He's a tricky guy.
If I'm not mistaken, it does. I think Stones may have been the one who crashed. However, it is 90 seconds in the future, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
It says he's actually offline for 30 seconds. So I don't know if he chose to go offline to avoid, the DDoS arena, or if his internet actually died. Hopefully, it's the former. Yeah, hopefully it's the former and he's back soon. I'm worried.
Yeah, kind of been a bumpy game so far. I mean, the issue with Inderp definitely didn't really get things off to a good start. I mean, it is what it is. We did have a little bit of issues. Was that just last season, all this TF2? I've been doing TF2 for 5 years. It all blends together. Was it last year where we had the fire alarm in the playoffs?
That was the season right before last one, I believe.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty terrible.
Club versus MS9000?
Grapes dorm getting completely flooded.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of exceptional circumstances there, and, you always kind of want to see things just be legit and things not have to be replayed when they don't necessarily have to be replayed. But that first round was certainly kind of, it's a pretty big deal. I mean, you've essentially given them halfway what they need to get the win. They're halfway there already with kind of a free round. And now we're having even more issues here, so we'll have to see.
And I like to think I have a reputation as a fairly frank and honest guy, so I'm just going to come out and say, it is important to remember this is not the grand final. So whatever happens, kids come back. Even if things go bad, or even whoever wins this game, even if this game is a little annoying with all the crashes, as long as we can get a really nice grand finals where everyone is present, I think we can say at the end of the day the best team won, and that's what I really hope happens.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. As somebody who's kind of thinking of Candidas, they're gonna really want to win this. Because going into the grand finals, 3 maps against a team like Ginyu is going to be really tough. But trying to win, 6, 2 of those back-to-back is just almost unthinkable here as you think of the kind of raw DM and talent that Ginyu has on their roster.
And I need to make another point, which is, according to Stabby, he is stuck on Your Eternal Reward. I just thought that was worth pointing out.
Oh, wow. That could actually be a pretty big problem as they're pushing to some of these more entrenched points like 3rd and 4th.
According to the video that Stabby released today, which I just watched, he loves running the Your Eternal Reward on Gold Rush, so maybe this is close enough, close enough to make it work in that PL Gold Rush public server action.
I'm curious to know if he's got the Diamondback equipped as well. He might store up some of those crit.
He told me he had Ambi with the Your Eternal Reward. Ambi DRYER. Hopefully he can surprise everyone with those weapons and get some crazy headshots instead or something, Always fun to watch Ambi headshots, but unfortunately for the Stabby sympathy parade, I feel like Enderp is kind of hogging a little bit of the pity right now, Poor guy.
Oh, it looks like we are good to go. People saying in chat that Stabby does have his loadout back, although he is still on that Your Eternal Reward reskin weapon.
And we do see the gun still holding. Really good work from Fathom, actually, to just hug that sentry while Sigafu was dead, air blast projectiles away. And
huge surf there by Overseer to avoid the Etny bomb, which was good play.
Nice shot by Scissor.
Takes down Ash and Mila.
Yeah.
And it looks like Ginyu is going to try to maintain this cliff, but there goes Sigafu, finally taken down. Sentry goes down as well. A lot of still kind of some graphical bugs because of that long pause.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this now. It looks like the various players from Kids Next Door are doing a good job capturing this point. And I think Overseer is... I want to find... Yeah, the combo of Ginyu is all live with Uber, but they're, again, giving up 2 and setting up on 3. I guess this is their thing, you know? They really value that 3rd point home.
Oh, Patty goes down. Nice shot by Sizz. He's on a 5-kill streak. Takes down
6.
Stabby as well.
Oh, that's a dead ringer, actually. Stabby's still running around.
He headshot Mela, though, on the roof for Etney to finish him off as well. Really nice streak by Scissor, you know? I would say he wasn't quite on the level of Stones, but, you know, people were saying Stones wasn't quite on the level of FaZe before he went huge last week, you know? Can't underestimate any of these flat snipers, man.
Stabby doing what he did last round, which is stay on the roof, try to get some ambi headshots on the cart, you know, confuse people where they're coming from. Scissor getting the snipe on Stones, it's definitely going to help out.
Yeah, right now, Sizz doing a great job with that sniper v sniper battle. That's a really important thing if they want to open up this 3rd point for him.
And it looks like Kids Next Door is already trying to gain some nice ground. They're coming in, their Uber comes in, they take down Mela. They haven't gotten the gun yet. I'm looking to see what Sigafu is up to. He's still using that gun pretty effectively. But he gets body shot by Scissor.
Wow. That was a
Nice
great shot.
shot.
He shot just to the left of the sentry gun, just to avoid that Wrangler shield. It's perfect.
And
Stones
Scissor's
goes
still
down
going.
again.
nice work by Ash and Stones for a little while before he goes down. But yeah, they are going to lose this point. And
This is a really fast time here, coming in right around 3 minutes for this 3rd point. Candy looking really strong in the 2nd round.
yeah, and I want to see what the Ubers are at. Overseer's at 58%.
Yeah,
Nerfy
big plays
goes
by
down
Mela.
in house by Mela.
Takes down Jared as well. That was sick. So yeah, at the very least, Ginyu is going to have time to hold up on last. And, you know, Ginyu's the kind of team that is not going to give up because they lost a couple of points. They're going to put up a really scrappy last defense. And it's up to Kids Next Door to show their real class in breaking it. Let's see what they can do.
Yeah, still plenty to play for in this round. It would be a bit of, you know, karma or like balancing of the force, whatever you want to call it, if Ginyu were to kind of lose this round softly based off of disconnects and stuff. So hopefully if that is the case, they don't get too upset. But this round's not even over. They could have a long last hold here and could have an even faster offense. We just got to wait and see.
Stones takes
Jared
down
goes
Jared.
down there.
Luckily for Kids Next Door, they're not at their Uber yet, so it's not like, and they didn't have an advantage, so it's not like they lost that. But it's unluckily for them. It's going to be Uber v Uber, and it's really tough to crack this last defense Uber v Uber. Again, I want to see them try to get their flank to like coordinatedly go in on the other side of the map on like tires or something, while they push down the cart track or whatever their plan is. Nice pick by
Stones
Scissor
goes down
again.
Man.
Wow.
He's on a roll here in the sniper v sniper, which is just huge. It's letting KND kind of push this corner and push Patty back down into the bottom, as Jarrett now has free roam of this top area.
And let's see where Sigafu has his gun set up. He's set up again also in that lower cart area, which is, again, extremely difficult to get to. So let's see how KND tries to break that. They're breaking it by having Jarrett walk up top and shoot down at the gun. He still hasn't gotten it though yet. He's gonna get something super. They do get the gun, and they get some nice picks. Dill is still alive in the stairs, though,
Wow.
doing work.
Just
Yeah,
4
a
up.
lot of
Overseer
KND
whips out the
does.
saw. Tries to get Storm. Aaron does get the kill there. No charge, though, because that's how spies work, which is kind of bogus off the dead ringer.
But Storm Aaron
Jarrett
gets
fighting on the cart.
Storm gets the ambi headshot on that Overseer to finish off the kill.
Wow.
Really nice play. He's got a couple of medic picks himself, you know, not to give all the credit to Cisco. So nice scrappy push by KND in the aftermath. And Kids Next Door is trying to muscle their way in with the heal advantage, but Patty is putting out a huge amount of damage on this corner and holding on pretty strong.
Yeah, strong D by Ginyu. It seemed like that was maybe, you know, one of those pushes that could have just unraveled everything and just led to a capture. But Kids Next Door held off for now.
You get a lot of these pushes that are just teetering on the precipice on this last play because the spawns are so long for defense. So if just like one too many players goes down, you're screwed. But so far, they haven't quite tipped the scales that far yet for Kids Next Door. Hopefully they can pretty soon though, because I want to see them show us some magic, man. I want to see if they can get a nice Uber. They're bringing their combo tires, and this is a good way to focus that gun. But is Sigafu on minis now? I think he is. So maybe that's not even their goal.
Yeah, and there it is, using that Uber advantage, coming in on Overseer, looking for the pick, doesn't quite get it.
Yeah, Overseer, she got away with 4 health. But Fathom going down and a few more players going down. Overseer got pushed out of the fight, now cleaned up by Aussie. The heavy weapons guy is on the point. We got ×3 on the cart with the Demo Man and Engineer there. Looks like they are going to seal the deal. 6:11 the time here. Definitely pretty speedy offense.
Yeah, even faster than the last one if I'm not mistaken. And just to point out, I liked Sigafu's attempt to reset up his gun up top and just rescue ranger it away. However, Etney flanked from map room with the Beggar's Bazooka and took him out. So just really good coordination from kids next door. You know, they're coming in from every which way, completely surrounding the Ginyu team. I mean, maybe they wouldn't have been able to without that Uber advantage that Storm Arian got them, but whatever the case, you know, that was a great push by them.
That's kind of what I've come to expect out of this team. Bobby and Jared, kind of the main callers as far as I know, and just really doing a good job of pressuring when they have that advantage and coming over top when, especially once they got stones down, doing a great job of being aware who's up and who's not.
Yeah, and let's see what the counter suicide, or rather the Ginyu attempt at the suicide looks like on blue, because they've had a little bit of success with their suicides as well. I definitely don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Nursey gets out of this with full Uber. See what happens.
Yeah, Mela not going to be running that Beggar's Bazooka as well, so we'll see if he can just utilize that standard rocket launcher a little bit more effectively than Etney was able to.
He's going down under the tunnel while Patty is... I think Patty is just walking up on the cliff. Patty's going now.
Wow.
He goes
Great skip jumps by Mela, a lot of pressure on the medic, but Nursey does survive.
And User, the engineer, down to 9 health as well. Very close, which is also a huge pick, obviously. Sigafu takes down... Oh, that's just a spy, never mind. But Scissor is still alive, as he shows by sniping Stabby. And let's see what Ginyu chooses to do to approach this point. I'm watching Patty as... I think he's thinking about taking the tunnel, which I think is a decent way to take your Uber nowadays. Yeah, they're going into the tunnel. They've gotten some nice cap time, and they're still pushing the cart.
Yeah,
Candy are going to have to react to this.
The
Scout is almost there at that capture. Finally, they take him down with the sticky from Jarrett. And he's still standing strong. Only Aussie down. Kresnik getting pretty low, but keeping him healthy. Stabby up on the cliff. Coming in on the sentry gun right now. Doesn't get the stab. Does help get that gun down, though.
And the Uber gets forced by Candy as they drop, but their Uber is actually going to be a little bit worse as Dill tries to chase them out. Dill is actually getting the lion's share of this Uber, and he's doing a lot of damage, as is Patty.
User killed as well there in the tail end of that. Losing a couple other players as Kresnik goes down. And Blue's going to want to keep the pressure up. Demoman goes flying forward. Patty retreating to the roofs. Should be able to kind of back up a little bit as Etney's chasing him down. Soldier v soldier fight. Looks like Mela going to get that as Etney gets arrowed to keep himself alive. And then taunts for no good reason.
Yeah, I was going to give Patty a little bit of crap there because I didn't think he was playing aggressively enough on that first point to spam out that heavy gun. He was kind of hiding behind the rest of his team. But then, for some inexplicable reason, Kids Next Door got forced and dropped down onto the cart with their worst Ubers. It all just kind of collapsed for them. However, Nursey has 100% Uber and User has set up in this window. So, yeah, I believe he has. So there we go. Let's see how Ginyu tries to crack this. It's tough. My guess is they're going to try to buff stones and get him in. But, that's... You can buff stones and he's dead.
Yeah, on that first point, it looked like Nursey just took a little too much sticky damage when they were coming underneath and ended up popping at the latter end of that push, which caused them to have pretty terrible Uber, but here they are set up on third, so we're going to see if it even really mattered in the long run.
Yeah, I'm just watching Jared as he's sticking up the cart. Very standard operating procedure for a demo on this point. And, I mean, they're putting the pressure on Ginyu. None of them are overextending right now. They're playing very passive and just waiting to see what Ginyu can do to them. And I'm watching Overseer, trying to see where Ginyu's going to eventually take their Uber. It looks like they're not sure whether they want to just pop in, and I think with that pick on Scissor, they're going to go. So they're going cart path, it looks like, which is not a bad way to push them.
Yeah, Stone's trying to get an angle and open things up. Hasn't found a kill yet. Kresnik gets Ash, and the Uber charge used on the point on Patty. Patty's actually going to retreat out of that, though. So they're going to abort that push.
Yeah, and Patty might even get caught out here. He is. Nice pick by Ozzy and Jarrett.
It just looks like Ginyu's playing a little bit passive right now. I mean, I know that they just exchanged that Uber, but they really needed their whole team to get in there and kind of take that top area.
That's what I was going to say, especially the top area. I feel like if their Soldier, their Scout, their Spy can start putting pressure up top, even when Patty bombed out, if he had bombed up top instead of bombing all the way away, I don't know. I just think to break this, they really need to get people up behind that engine because User was smart enough to play really far away from his gun with the Rescue Ranger when Patty came in to spam it so as not to die. Or maybe if they can get Stones to get a magic body shot like Scissor did, but whatever the case, they need to find a way to take down User. And
both teams did give up the second point very quickly in this set. but this third hold turning out to be more beneficial for KND. So with the scoreline of the sets being 1-0 to Ginyu Force, and this being the second half of the second set, hopefully KND can tie this up, take it to a third and final deciding set.
Nice snipe by Stiz on the Dill there, which is going to kind of delay this push maybe a little bit, as that heavy coming in does offer a good bit of cleanup. And the flank for Ginyu just going down here as Ash dies. A Stabby dead ringing in, trying to make something happen. Oh no, he actually does go down.
Watching Stones, and oh, there we go. Stones is trying to find a way to get in top left with Scissor watching. Stones smartly rotates and takes down Scissor. That's a huge pick in this situation.
Looks like this blue Uber is going to get shut down as well. With the Pyro Katsi, she's getting out there, shoving them away. Ginyu actually might, though, post-Uber be able to pull this back. Getting a lot of pressure right now.
Yeah, user down to 8 HP as Mela comes in and takes him out. Nice coordination between Stones and Mela, and this is going to be a point for Ginyu, I'm pretty sure. But nice kills by Jarrett to stop the rushing players. And this might make it tough for Ginyu to keep pushing. They only have a minute left. They can't slow down too much here. As Scissor takes down Stones yet again. Again, really nice counter-sniping by Scissor.
Yeah, Scissor getting protected by his teammates as Stabby was in there trying to cut Scissor to pieces. Only a few players really on the cart for Ginyu Force. Sigafu getting crazy aggressive, trying to just pick up something on Engineer, but Nursey stays safe. Cart still getting pushed 50 seconds and not much of a D up for Kids Next Door right now.
Yeah, but I think they're gonna be able to stabilize. Unfortunately,
Looks like
too many Ginyu players, I think, entered in on the cart. I mean, it's understandable considering how pressured they are with the cap time. So it's just a couple people pushing them from a different way, like Tires. I think they could have maybe gotten a couple nice kills, but as it was, Kresnik and Jared just stuffed them back into that choke where they belong.
Yeah, it looked like Ginyu's flank was trying to get aggressive on Nursey before they got that Uber, but not enough. And here it is, Uber's exchanged as Cassie's just going to come around this corner and stop this cart pass. We saw this in the first round with a failed push out of Ginyu, and we're seeing it again here.
Yeah, great job by Katsi there. Separating Patty away from the medic. Patty has gone down afterwards. Only a few players left, and that is going to be it for Ginyu Force in this set. So we're tied up, which I think is the way it should have gone. I mean, that's...
I mean, that round really showed what I expect out of KND. A lot of coordination when it counted, and taking easy frags when Ginyu gave it to him. And then Sizz helping out by going absolutely huge in that.
Yeah, Grizz, I was going to say, I mean, maybe everything went for KND like you expected, but I think none of us expected Scissor to be just that dominant. He went, I have the logs up now, he went 18-5 with 18 headshots. Stone's only getting 9 headshots and only going 12-10. Meanwhile, in terms of damage, Patty last round going 19-1. This round 5-7. Jarrett has almost 2,000 more damage than him. I'm not doing damage per minute because of all those pauses messing it up, for those wondering. But and on the other side, Overseer did okay, only dying 3 times, but Nursey only died once and got 17 assists. And looking at the heal spread, this time Jarrett actually getting a little bit more of the heals and Patty actually getting a little bit less. Maybe my theory that Demo Man's the best class in the game coming true? Question mark? Anyways.
A little bit of bias.
Just a little bit.
Both the medics staying alive for the most part in those sets, with Nursey doing a fantastic job of only dying once, which I believe was just that one kill in house where Etney was kind of looking the wrong direction and Mela just got the kill basically over Etney's shoulder.
Also, to both give Stones a little bit of credit and to give Scissor even more credit, I think the difference in their 2 kills actually comes entirely from the counter sniping. Like, Scissor got 6 more sniper picks than Stones, getting 9 to Stones' 3, and there was a 6 kill difference between them. So even when Scissor wasn't getting kills, although he was most of the time, or even when Stones was, I feel like the fact that Scissor just had all this free reign really cowed Ginyu into backing up.
Yeah, that is kind of silly. It's almost the kill difference, which is oh no, sorry. I was looking at somebody else for a second. It's the kill difference as well as almost the death difference, with Stones having 10 deaths and Scissor having 5. And the sniper is just such a huge weapon in Highlander, and especially with sight lines and bad water, when the sniper's down, it just gives you so much freedom. So certainly that's a really big deal that Scissor is winning that battle there.
Yeah, I also want to give some props to Kresnik and Katsi, the other combo classes, doing a good job, dying very little, getting a lot of kills. I mean, in a lot of these situations, the damage is actually pretty close between the various classes on Ginyu and Kids Next Door, but the Kids Next Door players just seem to have more survival, and it's And it's not even that they're necessarily playing too passive so much as they're all kind of working together more, whereas the Ginyu players, they're doing more, individual plays.
Yeah, especially when it comes into those Uber v Uber fights, K&D often getting a little bit smarter exchange, choosing to Uber Katzy there when it was smarter, and choosing to kind of take Jared in when it was more necessary. Again, they're playing it pretty smart. They're giving Ginyu a run for their money and trying to make it the least DM dependent match they can.
Yeah, I think, and a lot of people make this mistake of thinking that the players with the best DM are just naturally going to always automatically be the more aggressive guys who just go in and get kills. But I think on offense, Kids Next Door is actually being very aggressive because they have the confidence in their coordination where they can say, like, if we plan it all out and say, well, we're bringing in a 3, players X, Y, and Z are going to go up top left and focus the gun, and player Q is going to flank over here, and player F is going to jump over here. I'm running out of letters here. There are 26 of them, and that shouldn't be a problem. But anyways, basically, whatever the case, it really looks like whether, even if a player naturally might be a little intimidated by the DM of their Ginyu counterpart, if there's a specific plan of them having to go to a certain place at a certain time, they're doing it. And then you have all of them doing that, and you see this like really coordinated push where all of them are willing to get aggressive at the same time because they have each other backing one another up. And I mean, it just takes so much individual pressure off of each player to be like godly and hit crazy shots and survive things they shouldn't be able to, etc. If you all just go at the same.
Yeah, coming in on back to that individual player, who do you think we need to see kind of more out of for this game to turn around in this third round?
You mean turn around back to Ginyu and back in Ginyu's favor? Well, Stones, because he put such a high bar for himself last week. Patty, in addition, because he's trying to fill Banny's shoes. I mean, maybe that's not fair, but, I don't care about being fair. That's who they're replacing. I think Banny, would be expected to be putting up the most damage of any of the demos each round, especially because of how demo-centric Ginyu plays. He's the centerpiece of almost all their pushes. But if he's just having these ineffective Ubers where he's just walking and not getting anything done because his team isn't coordinated, I mean, it's not necessarily his fault, but they have to find a way to like get the gun down so maybe Patty can focus on other things like just putting out damage. If every push goes for the gun and the gun still doesn't go down, what can he do?
Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more coordination out of Ginyu's flank. Ozzy and Etney working pretty well together to clean up, but it looks like Ash and Mela are having a little bit of a disconnect, especially on those last pushes, just not quite coming in at the right times or not syncing up with their combo.
And I think that's
suffering because
that's partially because of who they are, but it's also partially because of the absence of Patty, because that's really the big benefit of having Patty on Scout. He plays off of the damage of his teammates so well. Like, when his demo or soldier do damage, he is there to clean up the kill. Like, looking at the logs from the last game they played, Ginyu versus ET on Viaduct, you see Decimate doing about the same amount of damage as Patty, but Patty just getting an astronomical number of kills because he played so well off of whatever Banny or anyone else was doing. And I mean, Ash is a very strong scout, but I mean, Patty is just so ingrained into the combo of this team. They take a lot of scout demo Ubers, he gets a lot of heals, he protects Overseer a lot. Maybe they're missing that,
Yeah, there's certainly a difference in roster, but let's see if they can overcome it as this third and final round starts off.
Just watching the Suicide's about to come in, tentative little push. Patty's constantly just walking up the cliff, he's going in. He goes straight for the gun, he's going for the NG. The NG doesn't quite go down, but User goes down to 15 HP.
Mela did the same thing, went underneath that tunnel and then came up. Could have maybe taken out Scissor if he just stayed down there, but did end up jumping when nobody else was really kind of going. So he really got soloed out, no problem, and taken care of.
They went at different times next time. I mean, Patty went like 5 seconds before Mela, not ideal.
And they're kind of getting shut down again on this first point, at least to start things off, but if this game comes down to seconds, this is very important for them to keep this defense up.
Really nice job by Ash, though, sneaking the cart out really far, and Candy has opted for the position of the gun watching the cart as opposed to the gun being a little farther back to stay alive, so if the whole of Ginyu pushes the cart again, I think they can get some nice spam up top on the gun and the heavy and whatnot. Patty's doing that right now. This is what I like to see, that nice spam, and then he backs up anticipating an Uber. The Uber dropping in on them. He gets Scissor. Nice work by Patty.
Yeah, they picked up a couple of pretty clutch kills here.
And
that's one of the differences. Oh, yeah. Oh, and the bomb comes in and it does force inertia.
I also want to point out really, really smart call by the combo of Ginyu, once they take out the sniper, rotating to that far right position, which is always the best way to push if the other team's sniper is dead, but very hard when he's not. However, they still haven't taken out the gun. That's really not hurting them.
And Katsi with no Uber on her just bravely gets out there and air blasts away Patty. So Blue not able to get much done with their Uber charge here. Patty actually then getting taken out by that wrangled sentry gun. Oh, and there goes Overseer. Ozzy just jumping in. Tip of the hat to him as he's getting some work done.
I got the reference. Anyways, I don't know. I feel like when Ginyu pushes in, they need a couple of their flank classes, like, I don't know, a Stabby or a Mela, especially, to really get on that engineer. I mean, it's tough because of how coordinated Kid 6 is. They often have a heavier pyro there, but I feel like when other players are looking at the Ginyu combo, they need to find a way to kill that engine. Because this is brutal, you know. They even get caught on this first point. I've had it happen to me before, and it is not fun.
And the gun does go down there.
Yeah, that's huge. That's important.
Yeah, User's right in the mix of things still, so he's actually going to try to reestablish a gun here. At least just a level 1 for now. We'll see if he kind of like gets in a position where he can bolt out to the second point if need be. But K&D for now, at least they're going to try to hold this. Mela's just like, I'm going to cap it, but nope.
Ozzy chases Overseer all the way back to spawn after Patty dies and kills Overseer. And this is what I'm talking about.
Stone does go down to Storm there. That's a big pick as it can freeze K&D up, but they still look like they're going to fall back, choosing to opt out of trying to win on that first point.
That's fair enough. First point hold is a little ambitious, and you got to have the big picture. It took them 3 minutes, and that's definitely a good hold on the first point. It'll buy them some time when they actually start playing offense.
And they're going for a little bit of a pillow soft hold here as they kind of set up their gun, looking like they're going to pressure this corner a little bit and make sure to get out before they lost it too much. But Overseer and Patty have taken this roof. Mela goes down to a nice shot by Sizz as they pull out to third point.
Yeah, they are going to get this point, but again, you know, at what cost? I mean, definitely Kids Next Door is going to be able to set up here, and 3:30 already, given the meta that's going on now with both teams giving up 2, you know, this is already pretty brutal. Ginyu really needs to get this on their first or second push, I think, this third point. They need to find a way to break this defense here.
Yeah, Stones needs to come in with a big pick here. Oh, but it goes down to Sizz. And that is just, again, it's just shooting themselves in the foot if they can't win this sniper duel, because they're going to be forced so much earlier in this hole.
Yeah, plus, you know, you got to factor in the curse of the caster, you know, it's always a big deal. Let's just talk about how terrible Stones is. Maybe he'll get like a 9K.
Hopefully.
As the Uber's coming from both teams, but nice Uber by Katsi bouncing Patty away. He finally decides to try to go up top here. I like this. If he can take down Kresnik here, who's taking a lot of damage. Oh, but I don't know. Kresnik manages to get out. Nice work by Patty, though, taking down Katsi, though. There's still a chance here for them to reestablish.
Stabby gets Nursey. That's a huge pick.
But Scissor gets Overseer at the same time, and he's on 5 kills.
And Patty, a 1v1 versus Storm, and Storm just pulls out the ambi, gets it done. There goes Fathom as well, so Candy still has this point in a chokehold right now.
I want to give some more props to Storm. I missed it, but while the Uber was going on, he killed Dill and Sigfrid, who were the 2 people pushing the cart, you know? If you want to get that cart push during your Uber, you know, that's huge on this map because it's insurance. Even if your push fails, that you can maybe, you know, sneak the cap and then they have to back up. But that was not to be.
Yeah, K&D definitely putting down a rough defense right now. 7:25 on the clock, so I mean, holding third point for Eternity is going to be pretty tough. Just as this draws on, you know, it's going to give them more and more time on offense. And I don't think you can really count that first set, but their second time on, or their time on the second set, 6-11, they're going to feel really confident going into this offensive portion if they can keep this defense up.
Yeah, finally Stone 6 on Scissor. Exactly, but he goes down right after, and this gun is still here. I don't know what they're going to do to get it. They need to get someone onto, and that's huge actually. Someone's taking out Kresnik because he's the main one who's guarding the engineer. Etney goes behind them and takes down Stones, but he's not protecting the Engie anymore. Looking for a bomb. Can he get Overseer? He does get Overseer. Nice work by Etney.
Yeah, plus the Uber on Jarrett. Jarrett's going to actually melee down Dill as out of ammo. Does reload a pipe to get Sigafu's gun. Sigafu chasing after Jarrett and Nursey, but not able to get the kill. Nursey has to back up, eat a sandwich real quick. It does lead to the third point being conceded, but Storm picking up kills on Mela and other players going down. It's not going to be an instantaneous push on the last, that's for sure.
And I just want to point out how absolutely huge it was that Etney managed to get in behind and take down Overseer, because Ginyu finally broke it, and they were going to be pushing last with Uber advantage, and then suddenly that's gone, and now Nurse's actually sitting pretty good with a 40% Uber advantage.
Yeah, I was really surprised again, kind of a little bit of a disconnect from the Ginyu flank going in there when there really wasn't anything to work with. And Ash just got killed real easily by Kresnik, which just leads to kind of frags for no reason.
It's the lack of Patty, man, on Scout, I'm telling you. He does so much for Ginyu. He's not as flashy as Banny or Stones, but he's really important that, like, the synchronization of their combo. He's always there for Overseer to back up with when they do like a demo scout play. If the demo goes down, they always have Patty to protect Overseer, and that hasn't been the case.
Yeah, I mean, K&D just proving they're a by-the-book team. I mean, nothing they're doing is totally revolutionary. Maybe some certain holds here or there, some fancy footwork, but again, they're being disciplined. They're not letting frags happen, go against them when it's a bad time. All their classes are up when they need to be, and they're just holding this point for so long.
We see a coordinated suicide from Mela and Patty, but it does not really come to anything. Stones does get a nice stab. I'm not sure what will happen as a result of this. I do want to point out that Stabby only has 3 points, and if that's the result of his loadout, that's pretty brutal. Nice headshot by Stormary, and of course taking out Stone.
Stabby's loadout was fixed earlier. He's been able to change it. He's on the Latranger right now, and a regular knife.
Oh, speaking of him, he runs out of cloak right before he gets to the gun, and the NG just bots him. Nice work by you. Unfortunate. Stabby almost got that NG right.
Yeah, I mean, this is just unfortunate. It looked like they were getting ready to push, and Ginyu just lost too many players.
I have to call out Ash a little bit. I really think he can't be going down before these, because I think he needs to be almost the one to go in and maybe get on the NG, or, you know, come in right after the Uber and clean up a couple kills. Scout is not a trivial class in these Uber pushes on last. I think he's incredibly important. As we just see Ginyu trying to take the tire side, they're walking it over the spawn, and let's see what they can make of this. Their Uber
They're
comes
doing a good job of focusing down user there, and they are going to get the gun. But again, a better Uber out of K&D. As Kresnik takes down Dill and Ash, and Scissor picks up the frags are coming in K&D's favor here.
I think if Dill hadn't dropped down and had stayed up top, that would have been a lot better. But because he dropped, and the Uber was so much longer for K&D, he was easily cleaned up by Kresnik, and then basically Patty and Overseer were alone in the heart of the enemy team. So, you know, again, maybe Ginyu showing their inexperience with the map, not really having a coordinated plan to set up people on the flank to, like, kind of surround Kids Next Door, because when Kids Next Door holds down here, right below this balcony, it's pretty easy to, like, go all the way around them.
But it looks like Kresnik's disconnected, because he's not in right now, and that's unfortunate, as he's usually doing a ton of work. Stabby comes in and gets the gun, Fathom right on top of it. This is unfortunate. It looks like Candy's doing all they can, and they are getting great frags despite not having a heavy.
Huge play by Jarrett. He just got, like, I think 12 kills in the last couple minutes of the play. Really holding on. However, Nursey is forced to pop with only Catsy alive. And like I said, the length of these respawns is killer, you know? I mean, look at this. They're barely getting people back in, but Kresnik is still down. Nursey has a nice surf to avoid Mela and stays alive. So this is actually really nice defending by Nurse.
This is just really smart play here, as they're just picking off Ginyu as they come in one by one. All getting trades are better, as Ozzy takes down 2 there.
Ginyu had a real chance to use that numbers advantage to take down Nursey, but they did not manage it. I don't know if it was coordination or just Nursey's nice dodging, but...
Wow. Sigafu gets in there right on top of Nursey, but again, Nursey with some nice dodges, able to survive.
I'm not sure. I agree with that play. I think he just gave Nursey a saw there, which is going to give advantage back over to K&D.
Yeah, it would have been right up there with her Overseer anyways, though, so maybe not too big of a deal.
Kresnik is back into the server, luckily.
Ginyu's still struggling here to get some traction. They're starting to get it, but it's still taking a little too long. Overseer has moved into a nice position, jumps down here with the uber heavy weapons. Catsy gets out here again. I think Catsy's gotten the most of the K&D uber charges. Will take care of Dill. Actually, Nursey gets a saw there. Speaking of, that's another helpful boost to the uber charge. And kind of surviving here. I think they'll be able to recover this.
Yeah, K&D just doing a phenomenal job of eating up these picks, and again, some phenomenal defense, and players going hard in the paint. As Sizz picked up a couple frags there, and now it's Jared's turn, who's on a 3-kill streak as he takes out Stones.
Yeah, Jared's on a 3-kill streak and Nursey is on a 13, whatever the medic's point. Is that assists? I'm done with these things. So that just shows how long it's been since they've died. I mean, it's not even superior DM so much as the fact that if every single one of them stays alive for these extended periods and Ginyu doesn't make any headway, you know? It's really hard to do.
Speaking of staying alive, Katsi on a 6-kill streak, which out of Pyro is pretty impressive. Doing a great job of protecting her medic there.
Yeah, Katsi's had a really great game.
Yeah, obviously not the flashiest of classes, so we might not notice at times, but that doesn't mean that the impact hasn't been there. As we see Patty and Overseer trying to fight Etney in that flank area, in that map room area. But so far he has managed to stay alive. That black box is so annoying, you know, it's really hard to take him down.
Ubercharge comes out again, but once more, Katsi just out there trying to use that air blast to really disrupt things. Does end up separating Overseer before she goes down. That's Katsi, not Overseer. Overseer hanging in there, finally down though. 3 up for KND, so this could be the moment for Ginyu for us. Maybe.
Gets Sigafu on the cart and it's just not moving anywhere.
Kresnik can finds a way to somehow hold this with 100 health. That'd be crazy, but I do think.
Oh my god, Sis just snapshots Mela. Nice pick there. As it's coming down to some spy GM as Candy gets respawns, it looks like they're gonna hold him.
Man.
That was some incredible play out of those last 3 players.
And Storm was there to backstab on the cart. Didn't even need to though with Sizer getting those stabs. And now as the rest of the players coming in, Jarrett does go down. Would have liked to probably keep him up. 20 seconds on your demo man is a little rough. But there's nobody really here for Ginyu that can contest these 8 players from kids next door that are still up.
Storm comes and takes down Dill. Stones is getting some nice snaps.
Yeah, this is what they need.
And Ginyu needs to push non-Uber, although they do not need Storm to take down Patty before they push non-Uber, and thus leaving Overseer alone.
Stabby did almost get the capture done. Sigafu tries to come in and finish it off, but Katsi just staying on the cart, continuing to make big plays, stops it right there.
I want to give a lot of credit to Storm. I feel like we need to highlight him a lot because he's basically on control of the cart. Whenever anyone gets even remotely close to the cart, you know, they die. He's doing a really good job of that, and somehow Ginyu has not stopped him. And by somehow, I mean because he has Dead Ringer's bicycle. But
yeah, right now it's just KND just picking off these players, and it looks like Ginyu might finally get a coordinated push as they're kind of settling into that corner and trying to make sure they don't get shut out of last.
Stabby out here, but they know he's Dead Ringer. They know he's around here somewhere. They'll find him eventually. So Aussie's kind of keeping a patrol out.
Oh, nice shot by Mela. Nice coordination with Patty. They do get a lot of damage here and force Nursey. Overseer still holds on to their Uber, and they're getting the cart really close here. This is getting intense. Nice picks by Mela. They need to just go in here and finish off, and they will.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, finally. Dill was there at the end, but also Nursey right there. I thought maybe that Nursey was going to be able to get the block until somebody was going to get the capture. 14-23. Let's just state that flat out.
I want to highlight, oh my god, I'm looking at the kills right now. You have to go, the first time you get to a Ginyu name is after 5 separate K&D players. And then there are 2 more K&D players before you get to the next Ginyu player. You have Aussie actually leading with 23 kills, Jarrett with 22, Scissor with 21, Storm with 20,
oh my god.
Edney with 15, and then finally Patty with 14, followed by Katsi with 11, User with 11, and then Sigafu with 10.
And that's, I mean, it's skewed because they were on the defense and they were getting a lot of work done and the round dragged on. But Patty is the only one who outscored more than anybody from KND. That's 8 offensive classes from KND and Patty in the top 9 kills. That's insane.
I should also point out that the last player on KND who's not up there is Grizz because he crashed.
And he already has 25 points.
Yeah, so he crashed, and he still already is back up there, so I think he could be a little bit higher as well, so just shows the universal dominance of kids next door. Aussie, I'm surprised that he's that high up. I guess he's getting some really nice cleanup. I guess I must have missed it. Let's see what happens here. Let's see if Ginyu is demotivated or if they manage to give us equal magic.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, they could hold them all the way. If we're just judging off of last round's results alone, kids next door could, well, play offense twice. We'll have to see how this round goes.
Ginyu with a really interesting little first hold where they have Overseer hide in the little pub NG spot, that little alcove right next to where the first point is, just to not get as not to get suicided on. Now they're going to block the cart. Nice work by Patty.
Overseer does get spotted and pressured.
That's
I'm
rough.
not sure if I agree with that hold. It just kind of lets the suicides get all the way on top of them before they can even react.
Yeah, I guess their goal was to split the attention